Have you ever asked yourself what you would do if everyone around you believed they were right and only you knew they were wrong? Have you ever imagined standing among your own people trying to save them while they laughed at you? Before you listen further, remember this. This is not a distant story. This is your own story. You are from the children of Adam. This journey from Adam until today belongs to you. This channel is your home. This warning of Noah is not written in one place only. The Bible speaks of a world filled with violence and moral collapse. The Torah tells of humanity drifting away from truth and responsibility. The Quran describes a people drowning in disbelief, arrogance, and denial. Different words, one reality. Humanity was being warned. Noah lived among his people as one of them. He was not distant. He was not unfamiliar. He shared their streets, their markets, their homes. He laughed with them. He worked beside them. But while they saw daily life, Noah saw decay. He saw injustice becoming normal. He saw cruelty turning into strength. He saw truth becoming something people avoided. At first he stayed silent, watching, hoping, but silence became heavy, and the call came, warn them. Noah stood before his people with a heart full of fear for them. Not fear of them. He spoke gently. He said, "My people, listen to me. I am not here to rule you. I am not here to take from you. I am here because I fear for your future." Some listened quietly. Most smiled. A few laughed. They said, "You are just like us. Why should we listen to you?" Noah did not argue. He did not insult. He returned the next day. He spoke again. He said, "Return to the one who created you. Leave what is destroying you. Do not follow arrogance. Do not follow injustice." People gathered, curious at first, then irritated. They said, "We have lived this way for generations. Nothing happened to us." Noah replied softly, "Time does not cancel truth." Days passed. Weeks passed. Noah continued. He went to their homes. He spoke in private. He reminded them kindly. Some felt something in their hearts. But fear stopped them. They said, "If we follow you, we will lose status. We will lose comfort." Noah felt their struggle, and it hurt him. Years passed. Children grew. Noah grew older. But his message did not age. He spoke during the day. He spoke during the night. The Quran tells us he said, "My Lord, I called my people openly and secretly." But every call was met with resistance. The leaders of the people gathered. They spoke among themselves. They said, "If we allow this man to continue, our authority will weaken. People will question us." So they mocked Noah openly. They said, "Look at him. A simple man, claiming to know the unseen." They said if a warning were real, it would come through the powerful. People laughed louder now. Children repeated the mockery. Old men shook their heads. Noah watched his people drift further away, and his heart broke silently. At night he stood alone, looking at the sky. He spoke to his Lord, not in anger, but in pain. He said, "My Lord, I have done what I can." They turn away. They cover their hearts. But still he returned to them. He spoke again, this time with tears in his eyes. He said, "I do not want anything from you. I want you to be safe." Some mocked his tears. Some felt uncomfortable. A few turned away silently. A small group believed in their hearts. But fear kept them quiet. Noah saw this too. He knew belief hidden as belief struggling. Years became decades. Noah's hair turned white. His voice grew tired. But his warning remained clear. He reminded them of accountability. He reminded them of consequences. He reminded them that denial does not erase truth. The Bible tells us that violence filled the land. The Torah tells us corruption spread. The Quran tells us disbelief hardened hearts. And still Noah stood. The people now openly laughed when he arrived. They said, here comes the man of warnings. They said if something were to happen it would have happened already. Noah replied calmly, mercy is not weakness. Delay is not absence. But they refused. This was not ignorance anymore. This was arrogance. They did not deny because they did not understand. They denied because they did not want to change. And Noah understood this. Yet he did not abandon them. He returned again and again. This is where this story becomes uncomfortable. Because this is human nature. Warnings are easy to mock. Until they are no longer warnings. Noah stood firm, even when his people stood united against him. He was alone, but not defeated, and this is where part A ends. The warning has been delivered. The denial has been revealed. The hearts have chosen. Have you ever felt that moment when you know the next step will make people laugh even louder? Have you ever felt that obedience will isolate you completely? This is where Noah now stands. After years of warning, after decades of rejection, after patience that would have broken most hearts, the silence came, not the silence of defeat, but the silence before a command. Noah felt it in his chest. A certainty, a weight. The command was clear. Prepare. Noah understood immediately. This was not an escape. This was the final phase of warning. He did not announce it. He did not argue. He picked up tools. He walked away from the crowds. And the work began. Wood was cut slowly, deliberately, with purpose. Each piece shaped with care. Each movement an act of obedience. People noticed. They gathered again. Curious at first. They asked, what are you doing now? Noah answered calmly, I am preparing. That was enough to ignite laughter. They said, preparing for what? There is no sea here. There is no river. There is no danger. Noah continued working. Days passed. The shape began to appear. Not a house. Not a shelter. Something unfamiliar. People returned. This time in larger numbers. They laughed louder. They said, look at the man who warned us for years. Now he builds something useless. Children ran around the structure, mocking, imitating his voice. Men clapped sarcastically. Women whispered and smiled. Leaders came forward. They said, Noah, you have finally lost reason. You warn us of something unseen. Now you build something that makes no sense. Noah paused. He looked at them, not with anger, not with shame, but with certainty. He said, you will soon know. That sentence disturbed them. They laughed again to hide discomfort. The work continued. Sun after sun, moon after moon. Noah worked alone, sometimes with a few quiet believers, but mostly alone. Sweat covered his face. Pain settled in his body. But his heart was firm. Each strike of wood echoed like a warning. Each plank stood as a silent message. Still they refused. They said if this warning were real the sky would change. The earth would shake. They said our fathers lived and died peacefully. Noah replied softly, peace before truth is not safety. That angered them. They mocked harder. They said build faster. Maybe the water will arrive while you work. Laughter filled the air. Noah did not respond. He worked. Inside his heart there was sadness. Not fear. He was not afraid of what was coming. He was afraid for those laughing. At night he sat alone, looking at what he was building. He spoke quietly to his Lord. He said, my people still do not see. They still mock. But he did not ask for destruction. He asked for strength. The next day he returned to work. More wood, more structure. The shape became undeniable. This was a vessel without water. The mockery reached its peak. Leaders addressed the people. They said, see how falsehood exposes itself. He warned us for years. Nothing happened. Now he builds a ship on dry land. People celebrated, as if they had won. Noah felt the weight of loneliness heavier than ever. Yet his hands did not stop. This was obedience beyond understanding, trust beyond logic. Some poor among the people watched quietly. They felt something was wrong. But fear sealed their mouths. Noah noticed them. He spoke gently. Without stopping his work, he said truth is not decided by numbers. Some looked away. Some felt tears. But still they did not move. Time continued. The structure stood tall. A testimony. A question. A challenge. The people had now divided clearly. Those who mocked, and those who silently wondered. Noah knew. This was the final separation of hearts. No announcement was made, no final speech, just preparation, and that silence frightened the people more than his warnings ever had. Because warnings can be argued, but preparation cannot be undone. The work continued, and the laughter slowly lost its confidence. This is where this part ends. The ark stands unfinished. The people stand divided, and the warning has reached its final form. If you were standing there, watching a ship rise from dust, would you still laugh, or would you finally listen? Stay with this journey. This is your story, from Adam until today. What comes next will not be words. It will be reality.